Welcome back to yet another episode of the Between the Hashes podcast here on the 515 Podcast Network. As always, joined by Braden Bankin, Brock Bierman. Fellas, how are we doing?
I'm alive. That's about the best way I can put it right now. I mean, Niners won somehow. I don't know how we keep doing this, but
That man CMC is a dog.
yeah, that is
Trust
putting
me,
it lightly.
no firsthand experience how good he is. You don't need it. So
Yeah, he's something else, man. He is the entire offense right now, and I'm not mad about it one bit.
Brock, how you doing?
I have a stress ball with me. That's where we're at in the season.
Is that an actual Cardinal stress ball, or is that just a regular stress ball?
It's smiling, but I wish it was not smiling personally. But
I thought that was like a legit Arizona Cardinal stretch ball.
Honestly, if anyone has one or
you
knows
need,
where
you
I
need
can
one of
get
those
one.
one of those like reversible, like the squids,
yes,
where they have like one of them like
I know
and
someone
then, like,
that has one of those, and I need
Brock's
one
gonna
of
put it in
those.
his background. If the Cardinals win, it's gonna be happy.
I need it, and it needs to be like when it's happy, it's like Larry Fitzgerald, and then when I flip it the other way, it's Cliff Kingsbury. That's
when you flip the other way, it's Josh Rosen.
Yes, Josh Rosen. I need the two different, just the two different polar opposites of what it's like being a Cardinals fan.
Yeah, someone out there that's listening or watching this, let's make that happen. That would be really funny if we got that at some point in the year.
You could make that for like all 32 teams. Make that you can make that a whole production line.
Minnesota,
Kansas City would be Mahomes is the smiley one, and then Daniel Sorensen is just the frowny face. That would be the Kansas City one. Braden, who would the Niners one be?
The smiley face is
Bosa or McCaffrey?
McCaffrey probably for right now. The other side is I don't even. There's so many to pick from. I don't even know.
First to come to mind.
First to come to mind. I mean, Jake Moody comes to mind pretty quickly, but he's been doing really good in Chicago. So I don't know what's going on there. It could just be that one clip of the Jimmy G's up there. The next one that came to mind was that the still of Jaquaski Tart dropping the pick.
Against the Rams?
The Super Bowl. Yeah.
Oh man,
if you want to go a little bit further back, the two punt return fumbles in the 2012 NFC Championship game by one Kyle Williams. If you want to go deep in the archives,
wow. Minnesota's would be Randy Moss and then Blair Walsh, or literally insert any kicker in Minnesota's history.
I think the Minnesota one would be it'd be the picture of Favre throwing it across the field against the Saints when is it Paul Allen?
Yeah,
you don't have to throw the ball. You could just take a knee and run out the clock.
This is the Detroit. This is the Super Bowl.
That's great. I love it.
Like that would be the
he's
the
greatest
dude.
Radio play-by-play guy in the NFL.
There's certain teams where it's like you just listen to their radio calls based on like who their announcer is. The Vikings, Paul Allen's really good. Any Hornets game that Eric Collins is a part of, peak.
I love that they're making him more of like a national broadcaster. Like it's just awesome.
He's on football games every once in a while now. It's so funny.
It's like any game that's longer than like 10 yards, it sounds like he's like having a stroke, and it's awesome.
Yeah, it's so unbelievably funny. But we are in that exciting time of that sports cycle. Obviously, the NBA is kicking off tonight. I don't know, Brock, do you have the score of the Houston and Thunder game? I know that's in the fourth quarter as we're recording.
Let me look it up real quick. I have it here shortly.
We also have World Series starting on Friday. Hockey started last week. Football's in week 8 already, which is crazy to say out loud, but we are in peak sports season.
Thunder up 101. Rockets up 101 to 100 with 142 left.
That sounds like a fantastic game.
It's been, I don't know if you guys have been watching it, but it's been a blast so far.
Yeah, the Rockets look really good. If you want more of our NBA takes and the hilarious takes that me and Brock and Hunter Rose have, tune into our second show, the Hardwood Convos, and you'll hear our fantastic takes for this season and who we have going far and who we don't have going far.
Yeah, I made a comment about the Nuggets being in the play-in game, and then Dawson and Turner both proceeded to say the Nuggets for their NBA championship.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. So I'm either going to look really, really smart or really, really dumb. So
Hey, in order to have a great take, you gotta put yourself out there.
it's one of those where it's like, do I realistically think it's 100% going to happen? Maybe, maybe not. But it's just, you got to look at everything involving the Western Conference. But that's for a different.
Your litmus test for how good your predictions are is, do you have the Bulls anywhere between the 7th and 10th seed, and are they immediately not making the playoffs? if you got that, you're golden.
Yeah, if we ever need Bulls talk on the podcast, we know our resident Bulls fan to reach out to.
Fan is a bit of an overstatement. They make me very sad.
That's like most people in Chicago.
Yeah. I guess the Cubs are probably the only thing giving Chicago fans hope right now.
Whoa. The Bears are the only team in the NFL to score over 20 points every game this season.
Oh, did not know that. Risky Bears.
Some random stat that I saw on social media.
I think I saw that as well. Yeah,
And yet people are still like, I've been told by some of my friends who are Bears fans, not by them specifically, but there are people within the fan base that are already questioning whether or not Caleb Williams is the guy.
I mean, that's just how Bears fans are.
That's the thing.
That's just kind of how NFL fans are. If you're a year and a half in and you're not like a top 5 quarterback,
coming from the Cardinals, who literally went back-to-back years drafting quarterbacks.
Well, I think you guys knew pretty quickly that Josh Rosen was not the answer.
Yeah.
Maybe those 9 picks before him were, in fact, not mistakes.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Football.
All right, let's get into it.
Football.
Last week, I'm going to be honest, weren't very many close games last week, but we're going to start with Thursday Night Football. This one was the geriatric bowl, if I've ever seen it. 41. Your mic cut out.
Did you guys see that the I don't remember who said the Icy Hot Bowl?
Oh, the Icy Hot Bowl. That's good.
The one, what was it? Cam Hayward that said that.
Yeah.
To Aaron Rodgers.
What was the Copper Fit Bowl? Like, just start thinking of things that people of old age would start. The New Balance Skechers Bowl.
I like it.
Just
this game. This game was awesome. Bengals end up winning this one 33-31. I don't think anyone saw this game being that high scoring. Joe Flacco was the MVP of this game. 342 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 74 quarterback or QBR. Jamar Chase was a huge part in this game. 16 receptions, 161 yards, 1 touchdown. And Steelers didn't play horrible. Rodgers had 4 touchdowns, did have 2 interceptions, which may have ultimately cost him. But he was distributing the ball around well. Pat Freiermuth led the Steelers in receptions, yards, and touchdowns. What were your guys' thoughts in this game? Do the Bengals have some sort of life with Flacco at quarterback, or was this just a one vintage Flacco game that we're going to get this season?
I mean, I can kind of see both sides of this. I mean, Flacco he's either going to be like, there's a reason why we spent like 8 years trying to decide if Joe Flacco was good or not. It's because he just has these games where he's like the best quarterback of all time, and then he has games where he throws the ball to the defense more than it does the offense. It just depends on what day of the week it is, and fortunately for Bengals fans this week, they got good Joe Flacco. You said Joe Flacco was the MVP of this game. I think it's Jamar Chase. 16 catches, 23 targets. We mentioned this a bit last week just based on the timing on when we were recording it. That is tied for 3rd all time in targets in a game by one wide receiver. I mean, good Lord. Talk about getting absolutely peppered. That's kind of just what the Bengals have to do to be able to stay somewhat afloat this year, is just give Jamar Chase the ball an ungodly amount of times, and they did, and good things happen.
the Bengals only had 4 players with positive receiving yards. If that tells you anything, like it was Chase, Higgins, Andre Isavas, who got a couple targets, and Noah Fant. Those were the only people that had positive receiving yards. Chase Brown had 2 receptions, but he was -8.
Who would
So
have thought that Noah Fant would be one of the most efficient tight ends in the league in terms of just like
at this point in his
production
career,
when
yeah,
he's on the field? Like people don't realize when he's on the field, there's a really good chance that he ends up with the ball. Or like at least is being one of the top options, which I would have never considered after the first couple of years of his career.
no, because you're talking about a guy that was with Denver, didn't really shine in Denver, gets traded to Seattle in that Russell Wilson trade, and then he's kind of tight end one, but not really. Gets cut, and then gets like a practice squad invite with Cincy, and now he's like 3rd or 4th best option when it comes to catching the ball, which is pretty remarkable. But what are your guys' thoughts on Pittsburgh in this game? Is there time to panic, or is it time to panic for Pittsburgh?
I mean, I don't know. Like I said, you kind of just have games where Flacco's going to just destroy you. This happened to just be one of those games where it felt the conversation kind of comes up a lot where it's, did a team win a game or did the other team lose it? I feel like this is more the Bengals winning this game than the Steelers losing this game. I think there's a formula to Steelers football, and it just didn't happen to end up in a win this time. But I think they keep at it. It's going to work more often than it won't, as we've kind of just seen.
Sorry, I was just watching SGA tie the game up. But no, I don't think it's anything to worry about for Pittsburgh. I mean, let's be honest, especially with this division this year, Pittsburgh is going to be in the running to win the division no matter what happens at this point. I feel like the sky would have to fall for the final 2 weeks to come up, and all of a sudden it's like, oh no, Pittsburgh's completely out of it. There's no chance that they could make the playoffs. I think, like you said, I think this was just Cincinnati's game. This is just, Cincinnati was going to win this game, obviously, based off of the performance from Chase and Joe Flacco. Also shows you how bad I feel like Browning was as their starting quarterback, because Chase was non-existent those weeks that he was starting for the Bengals. And you put in Joe Flacco, and again, everybody has been, whether or not he was good, every single season he started for the Ravens. And then, he's bounced around, and every team he's went to, though, it seems like he's put them in playoff positions year after year. So maybe he can. I was writing off Cincinnati's season when Burrow got hurt, and I think a lot of people were as well. I don't know what his timeline is in terms of trying to return, but hypothetical, could Cincinnati be in a position for a late Super Bowl run if Joe Burrow comes back healthy and with how Joe Flacco has played?
Maybe, just with how lackluster this division has been. I mean, you look, Pittsburgh's leading the division right now with a 4-2 record. Then Cincy's second with 3-4. Cleveland's 2-5. Baltimore's 1-5. Baltimore just looked like an absolute mess. So who knows what they're gonna do, if they're gonna turn it around. Lamar does come back this week. It's a Super Bowl push is maybe a little bit of a stretch, but definitely a playoff push if they can just maintain a 500-ish record. Because what is Burrow supposed to come back, like week 16, 17? Like very, very end of the season?
It would be like right before the playoffs.
So I don't know, if Flacco can just keep you at like 500, you never know, could sneak in as the 7th seed, because the AFC, I don't know. I don't know what to make of the AFC at this point in time. You got teams that have good records that who knows if they're actually good. You got teams with bad records that might be good, might not be good. So I don't know. It's definitely possible.
I think this might be Oh, go ahead, Braden.
My question is, if Flacco is good enough, there are, I would say, 2, maybe 3 horses in the race to win that division if the Ravens can somehow figure out how to win games again. If Flacco is good enough to get you to the playoffs, and Burrow hasn't, other than week 1 and a quarter and a half of week 2, if Burrow hasn't played football in that long and Flacco's been in game shape, taking game reps for that long, do you even take out Flacco? If he takes you to the playoffs, do you make that switch? I mean, obviously the ceiling's a lot higher with Burrow, but if a guy hasn't taken a snap and has been recovering for that long, do we think he's a better option to start that playoff game than the guy that's been leading your team to playoff football?
That's such a difficult question because, like, I see
I
both.
don't think you
I
do.
see both ways. I see
don't
both
think you
ways.
take him
Honestly,
out.
Dude,
It's
think
one of
about
those
the
where-
discussion we're having right now. We're talking about if the Bengals should keep in Flacco over Burrow if both are healthy. And
but it's an
playoff
honest
contention.
question.
It
It's a-
is.
I- here's the thing,
In
legitimate
the year
it's-
2025.
It's obviously it's not like a 1-to-1. Obviously, if it is like week 1, you obviously start Joe Burrow, duh. But like Joe Flacco with 15 weeks, well, kinda, of game reps versus a Joe Burrow that's been on the bench rehabbing, hasn't been taking game speed snaps.
I would say I honestly lean 85-90% towards, like, it's Joe Burrow. Like, I know that he's hurt. The only thing is, though, that would change my mind is if Joe Flacco has more games like this where he just looks, because it's one of those things to be decent enough to get your team enough wins to get to the playoffs. It's another thing to, like, be undeniable in terms of, like, you have to start me because we have done something that, like, nobody thought would be possible, and if you do, I feel like you'll be affecting the game plan in some way, because there is a world where I see Joe Flacco playing like crap, but yet the Cincinnati Bengals still have an easy path to the playoffs.
Yeah, I get that. I definitely think his play will have a big effect on whether or not he ends up getting the nod if they happen to miraculously make the playoffs. But I think another thing you have to consider is that it feels like every single year the Bengals start like super slow. They always start like 1-1, 0-2, look just unimpressive all around. How much of that is because Burrow hasn't been, like, let's say, like, game ready by week 1, week 2? Do we think he will be game ready if they need him to come in and, like, let alone against, like, the Browns? It's one thing to go against the Browns when you're not quite ready. To go against a playoff team with, like, on a slow start, I feel like that is a near impossible task versus a guy that has been able to start with the team since week 7 and get the chemistry and get the game plan to work.
The only thing I would caution that situation from being made where Joe Flacco ends up being the guy is, what does that tell you if you're Joe Burrow? You know, like, I'm not saying that he would, like, take this and be like, that's it, I want out kind of thing.
That's
but
true.
It's one of those where it's like, I could see a world where if they did that, and I'm not saying it would be the wrong move, because if they hammer off 4 or 5 straight wins and Joe Flacco is playing really good, I mean, you can't deny what he's doing. But you also paid this guy in Joe Burrow, and you also gave him the keys to the franchise, and you want a franchise to turn again. You want your fans to turn against you. That's the thing, is, like, I don't know. I get what you're trying to say, and I'm not saying that I don't agree with you, because I kind of would love to kind of see how that would, like, pan out for the Bengals. I'm just worried of the consequences from that decision for just one season.
I get that. I definitely do get that angle. I could see him being mad about it if he is cleared and ready to go. But let's also not act like Joe Burrow has been, like, healthy. It feels like every year he's getting hurt. Is it insane to say that, like, there's a decent chance that you put him out there with that same team again, he's not going to end up hurt again? I mean, coming off of an injury, who's to say he doesn't get hurt again, and then we're just back to square one?
And can you re-aggravate a turf toe injury?
I'm sure you can.
Probably.
Easily.
I'm sure you can.
So, I don't know.
one quick thing that I want to touch on, and kind of the underrated storyline that I don't think many people are talking about. Joe Flacco may have just saved Zach Taylor's job for this season. I think Zach Taylor was legitimately on the hot seat for the Bengals. And I know Burrow's out, so you give him a little bit of grace. This team is still pretty talented. And if Flacco's able to reel off some wins, you let Taylor still be the head coach of your football team. You give him one more year with Burrow, Higgins, and Chase for next year. I don't know. I think that's just because I personally thought before the season, if the Bengals underperform, Taylor's got to go. Like, at this point, it's what, year 5 or year 6 with Taylor as the head coach? And haven't been to the playoffs in the last 3 years. Like, something's got to change. But I think if Flacco keeps playing this well, he may have just saved Taylor's job for this year.
Yeah.
I think a lot of where I'm sitting on the if Joe Flacco somehow drags them to the playoffs, like where I'm sitting on that debate, I think a lot of that probably sits on the fact that I didn't have the Bengals making the playoffs with Joe Burrow. So if somehow Joe Flacco can lead that team to the playoffs, I feel like that kind of just strengthens my point even more.
Yeah, and I think I had them finishing third in the division, if not third in the division, making it in a wild card or not making it at all. I can't remember for sure. So
yeah, that's certainly going to be something to watch over the next few weeks. Flacco's play, and just if he's able to keep the Bengals afloat offensively, defensively, they still have many issues that we don't even really need to talk about. But if he's able to keep them afloat offensively, give Chase the ball, give Higgins the ball, who knows? We might be in weeks 17. Bengals could still be in the hunt for the playoffs. So we will see. We're going to get into our game of the week picks. Goofy me did not post the picks, so the audience never got to see who we had or what games we had. But I have the picks right here, so I'll just talk about it for a second.
I don't remember who I picked.
I have them.
Did I do bad?
No. You went 2-1 this week, and Braden and I went 1-2.
Okay, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Because you didn't post them, I honestly went the whole weekend without paying attention to who I picked.
I didn't realize until I looked today as I was making graphics for this week. I'm like, oh my God. Because I had the scores put up. I just didn't get the logos changed in time.
Oh, that's also my bad. I need to adjust the logos sometimes too. So,
first game of the week that we had was Eagles, Vikings. Eagles looked really good on offense. I think it's the first time their passing offense has looked good all year. Hurts goes 19 of 23, 326 yards, 3 touchdowns, 95.1 QBR, and a perfect passer rating, the first perfect passer rating of the season. Running game is still pretty lackluster at this point. Saquon, 18 carries, 44 yards, which this is not the same Saquon we had last year. But Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, good golly oh Molly. 9 receptions, 183 yards, 1 touchdown for Devontae. 4 receptions, 121 yards, 2 touchdowns for A.J. Brown.
And some choice words too.
What?
And some choice words too from A.J.
Yeah. Yeah. No one really else on the Eagles got it going offensively outside of Smith and Brown, but they didn't really need anyone else to. Smith had that 179-yard touchdown. What are your guys' thoughts on the Eagles' offense? You still have your concerns, or are you starting to come around and starting to believe in the Eagles again?
I mean, on one hand, it's one game. We'll see if this can translate into more games down the line, and we still have Saquon Barkley putting up 2.2 yards per carry or whatever that equates to.
2.4.
So 2.4, close enough. So you do kind of wonder, can this continue on? Or are they able to kind of compound this and winning more games, looking like a competent offense again? But also, this is the Vikings defense. The Vikings defense has been putting offenses in cages all year, and this is the game that the Eagles decide they want to be able to pass the ball. Okay, I guess. I mean, what a week to be able to do that. But yeah, I guess I kind of don't have an answer to your question. I could see both sides. I could see this just being just a random out of nowhere performance that ends up just slinking back into what it was. I could also see this being all right, maybe we do need to actually throw the ball, and they can throw the ball. But I don't think we're going to get another 158.3 out of Jalen Hurts. I'll tell you that for free.
I think the stat I saw was the Minnesota defense hadn't given up, was it 250 passing yards to a quarterback yet, and they gave up 330 in this game to Hurts.
To Jalen Hurts.
So
they definitely game planned for the run, and that didn't happen.
And that will become a common thing with the Eagles. Teams are gonna force them to throw the rest of the year, unless this continues. Like if they have multiple performances like this, that will change quickly. And when that happens, Saquon will then be able to kind of break open. I think he's only averaging like 3.3 yards per carry this year, which like for Saquon, that's like jeez.
Yeah, I think Saquon's still like, I don't want to say he's injured and playing injured right now, but just something seems off with Saquon. I've said this a couple weeks in a row, but this is a guy that had 2,000 yards from scrimmage last year. Like he was a monster on the ground. And
I think a lot of the reason why Saquon is looking like off, and I've said this a million times, I'm going to keep saying it, it's because of those injuries on the Eagles' offensive line. Like we keep seeing they're down like what, 3 starters right now, 2 starters on that offensive line. That makes a difference.
Sounds right.
So especially in the run game, a lot of the run game is based on how much of a push the offensive line can give you. So if you have backup offensive linemen trying to give you a push, it makes sense that you're going to have less yardage.
Yeah, this hit Saquon's 3.3 yards per carry this year is the lowest of his career when he's played more than 13 games. So it's the lowest since the 2021 season with the Giants when he was at 13 games, and he had less than 600 yards that year, 2 touchdowns, like just didn't play well. So maybe you're right. Maybe it is the O-line, but I don't know. Something feels up with Saquon, but right now they don't really need him. I mean, they're slinging the ball everywhere. They're getting Devontae involved, AJ involved. But yeah, Eagles are looking good.
I will say, like, I need to do more research on this, and it's actually kind of one of my favorite things I've always wanted to like go down a deep rabbit hole. Is like, at what point do running backs usually start hitting that decline? And usually, one of the things that's kind of pointed at is like 1,500 to 2,500 career carries, and Saquon is over that 1,600 carry threshold, but he also hit that 1,600 threshold right around last season, so he was still in his prime career. Another thing is usually running backs who get 370 carries have a steep decline the following year. He had 345 last year, but I don't remember for sure if those carries counted postseason stuff or not, which if it did, I
don't think so.
would lean to that 370, which might explain a little bit of Saquon's little bit regression. But again, I think it's more of the game planning stuff for why he hasn't been performing the way that what people were probably expecting him to do.
Yeah, the stat I saw was anytime a running back has over 450 touches, so that's either carries or it's catches out of the backfield, only one player since the turn of the century has had more yards the next season. And the only player that's had more yards... No, LaDainian Tomlinson, almost 20 years ago.
Yep.
And that was like LT's from his either first or second season or his second to third season. Like, he was still super young, so like he had no tread up. Like, he was a brand new running back in the NFL, and he was putting up that. And Saquon, and usually most of those running backs have a 1,000-yard decrease or around a 900-yard decrease the following season. But right now, Eagles passing offense is kind of carrying that load. So we'll see. We'll see if that becomes a problem for the Eagles. It hasn't really yet. I know they've lost 2 games, but they're still humming along. So next game of the week that we had Colts versus Chargers. Let me pull up who had who in this game. I think Braden was the only one to pick Colts in this one. I think that sounds right.
Man.
Yeah, Braden picked Colts 31-21. Me and Brock had Chargers.
I stand on my power rankings, baby.
Me and Braden talked about it quite a bit last week. But we should talk about it again. The Colts are just a dominant team. I want to say that the Vikings from last year, where it just kind of feels like a fluke. But good
Is it a
God,
fluke?
this team is good. Like, what are your guys' thoughts on the Colts thus far through the season?
Yeah, I like your take on it. I do see a lot of the last year's Vikings in this team, where you kind of have a quarterback where it's like you're kind of just waiting on him to you're waiting on the clock to strike midnight, and that chariot turns into a pumpkin, as I know you love to say oh so much there, Dawson. But yeah, with that being said, like the Vikings still went 14-3 last year.
True.
So as far as regular season power rankings go, they were still a top team in the NFL. And I think until January hits and the clock strikes midnight, I see no reason to lower them in my rankings until we eventually see that quarterback start the decline.
Brock, what about you? You were high. You were early on the Colts. You had them in the power rankings before me and Braden came around to it. But what are your thoughts on the Colts thus far this season?
It is so fun watching a team that is just like Jonathan Taylor is one of the best running backs in the league. I will preface by saying that. But it's fun watching a team where like it's not one person that is like there isn't a name on this team. Maybe Jonathan Taylor is probably what everybody would point out first. But like Jonathan Taylor's name when referencing the Colts doesn't hold up to what Saquon Barkley's name holds up to with the Eagles with what he did last year. Or Patrick Mahomes with the 49ers, Christian McCaffrey with the Chiefs, sorry. Christian McCaffrey with the 49ers. I was skipping ahead a little bit there. But like you guys get what I'm saying. Like the Colts don't really have like a big superstar name. I think some people still forget how good Jonathan Taylor really is, but they're just good at football. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't think Daniel Jones is having like this unbelievable like MVP caliber season, but like he's not playing bad football either because he has a good like cast around him. I mean, Michael Pittman's been there for a while now. Some people forget how good Michael Pittman can be. It's like, and I don't know. I just remember like the early 2020s, even some of the late 2010s where it's like, the Colts are a few moves away. And then they they dropped really bad after they went through a couple of old quarterbacks in Phillip Rivers, Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
And Matt Ryan.
And that's who I was going to reference, Matt Ryan. And everybody was just kind of forgot about them because I don't think they've completely changed really outside of maybe their quarterback situation. They have made some moves, obviously, that have made them a little bit better. But like some of their key names, like, again, Jonathan Taylor and Michael Pittman, those guys have been there for a while. So I don't, and maybe honestly, maybe we need to start looking at the coaching staff too for how they've been able to game plan for this roster that they have.
Yeah, Shane Steichen right now is doing wonders with this Colts offense. The stat I was going to pull up, but I forgot to, but I remember it somewhat, is since the turn of the century, there are 3 teams that have averaged 3 points per possession. So every time they get the ball, they average 3 points. Those teams are the 2007 Patriots, the 2018 Chiefs, and the 2025 Indianapolis Colts. And the Colts,
are not winning the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
The Colts are first. They average 3.42 points per possession, and the next closest is 3.12. So 10% better offensively, statistically, if you want to play that game, than the 2007 Patriots or the 18 Chiefs, which is an unbelievable stat. Shows just how dominant this rushing attack has been with Taylor, how good Daniel Jones has played, how good the receivers have been. What you mentioned, Pittman. Tyler Warren's played well, the rookie out of Penn State. Alec Pierce has played really well. And honestly, if it wasn't for Adonai Mitchell literally dropping the ball on the 1 yard line, this team would be 7-0. So I don't know. I think it's time we start taking the Colts just a little bit more seriously.
There's just something about just a good football team with no superstar names that take over everything. It's so, this is not throwing shade at your favorite college football team, but like Iowa's never had like that name, but they've always been really good at just winning football games. And sometimes that's all you need. You don't need to have that superstar name. And I feel like that's what the Colts have. And they don't think it will happen, barring whatever comes the rest of the season. They still have a very raw talent at quarterback sitting on the bench as well. Again, I'm not saying that I want to see Anthony Richardson play, but it's just something to keep in mind.
Yeah. Braden, do you have any other thoughts on the Colts before we move on to our last game of the week?
Not really. No, the only thing I would say is that with the trade deadline coming up, I would not be surprised to see them add maybe some depth in the secondary, just because we have seen a lot of injuries and just already it wasn't like insane. So I do think that might be one area where like obviously we'll get more into trade deadline deals closer we get to
around
that.
The corner. I think we're like less than 2 weeks away.
Next week, November 4th. So next week will be the first week we should probably talking more about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that will probably be one of the spots where I wouldn't be surprised if they get some more help in that area to be able to help them out, just to be a even better, more well-rounded team than they already are.
For those basketball fans that are tuning into this episode, we are now in double OT for this Thunder Rockets game.
Are you watching the game or are you just kind of following the score? Because
I'm following the score. I check it every once in a while because I have ESPN opened.
I have it, so I obviously have it muted because we're recording, but I am 99.99% sure KD called timeout with 0 timeouts left, with 2 seconds left on the game.
Chris
and the
Webber?
No, the refs didn't call it.
Oh.
And the Thunder fans are the coach was up in the ref's face because that's a free throw.
That's technical, That's game over pretty much.
Again, don't quote me on that, but just based off of what I kind of saw in the motion when he got the ball, and then what the coach did after for Oklahoma City makes me think that. But yeah,
we'll have to discuss that for Hardwood Convos. We'll see. Well, I'll look at the replays and stuff like that, but I'm sure that'll be an interesting talking point.
Real quick, Chargers are in danger. Before we go to the next game, Chargers are they're in danger zone. Injuries are catching up to them. Herbert is not struggling numbers wise in terms of yardage and touchdowns, but like just has no time.
You want to talk about a guy that picks up a bunch of garbage time stats? That man Justin Herbert might as well lead the league in that stat. I don't know if there's a specific stat out there, but he threw the ball 55 times for 370 yards or something just utterly absurd.
This man some help, dude. If he was on a good team, do you guys not think that?
I think it's more of an injury thing than them not being good, because he is out Rashawn Slater for the year, and Joe Alt's been on and off the field the entire year. But he threw for 420 yards. Excuse me, I thought it was a lot less than that. But yeah, and he was their leading rusher for whatever that's worth. Yeah. Yep. I agree. I think the Chargers are in trouble. We'll see if they make any moves for the deadline. I wouldn't be surprised if they're buying. So
this season, and we'll talk more about this next week, could be the most important trade deadline in NFL history, just because I think this is the longest we've ever been into the season where no one has a clear cut, that's my Super Bowl pick.
Right.
Unless, and maybe I'm wrong. Some people might still be on the Lions train that because a lot of people did pick them heading into the season. The Chiefs are starting to pick up a little bit more in traction as the year has went on. But like, it's standings wise, it is a cluster, what right now. And a couple trades for teams that are selling two teams that are buying, who could
Mhm.
single-handedly change the landscape of the standings the rest of the year.
I think you could have, like, we'll get to power rankings later in the episode, but like you could legitimately make an argument for 11 teams, I feel like, to be in that top 5.
Mhm.
Because the top of the league is just so open. There's so many 5-2 teams. There's a couple 6-1, or I guess there's only one 6-1 team left. But there's a lot of 5-2 teams in the NFL right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. I mean, good Lord.
Hey, let's talk about two of them right now.
Yeah. Our last game of the week we had was Lions Buccaneers. Let me pull up the scores for that one. Braden and I went Buccaneers in this one. Brock did end up going Lions in this one. So Brock picks up a win in the game of the week standings.
It hurt me. It's like picking against my own child, man.
But yeah, the Lions pick up a win 24-9. When everyone thought this would be an offensive shootout, this was just a Detroit defensive masterclass from, oh God, is it Kelvin Shepard, the DC? I think that's the DC.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
I think so.
Jahmyr Gibbs, what was unbelievable on Monday night. 17 carries of 136 yards, 2 touchdowns, and also had 3 receptions for 82 yards in the air. Bucks didn't look good. Baker, it felt like he was just running for his life. His O-line was not helping him. And no Mike Evans for the rest of the year. He is unfortunately out with a broken collarbone. So his 1,000-yard receiving streak is now over, presumably.
I want to touch on that real quick.
Okay.
Mike Evans is like probably my favorite wide receiver that never suited up for the Arizona Cardinals. Fantasy legend for anyone that got him in a PPR league. You're guaranteed 1,000 yards, and early in his career too. Who knows how many catches? Just because at one point it was Mike Evans and Mike Evans as options 1 through 3.
I mean, you want to talk the longevity of his career. He was in the same draft class as Odell Beckham Jr. And Beckham hasn't really been a factor in the NFL in 3 or 4
and what
years.
sucks is more people are going to remember Odell Beckham Jr. than Mike Evans.
Yeah.
And the thing about Mike Evans is like you've never heard anything bad about him, really. He doesn't really talk that much crap, really. He kind of just goes out and does his job, plays football, and goes home after that. Super Bowl winning wide receiver, obviously. Future Hall of Famer. The thing that sucks the most is that I think he tied last season with Jerry Rice for most consecutive seasons with 1,000 yards total. So because of injuries, he's not going to be able to break it. And that's the worst part. I'd rather it be like, he just had a bad year or he retired, something like that.
Yeah.
Losing it because of injuries, I feel so bad for the guy.
I mean, yeah, he almost lost it last year, if I remember correctly. I think he only got it by like 6 yards because of injury. So for him to fully lose it this year, I mean, again, you're kind of lucky that you didn't lose it last year, but it doesn't suck any less knowing that injuries are still going to take that from him.
Right.
Really, yeah, I mean, you guys said it best. One of, if not the most consistent wide receivers of this generation, really. Just if you needed a first down, if you needed a catch, Mike Evans was going to get it done. I guess we don't know for sure what his future looks like, if he won't retire, if he's going to stick around, sign somewhere else. I don't know what his contract situation looks like.
Last year of his deal.
Yeah,
that's the worst thing about that sucks.
And you never know. He's got a job if he wants it. It's just, will he maintain like alpha dog wide receiver 1 type role? And I don't think he will.
Here's the thing too, is he's earned the right to get a contract regardless, because he's just been so dominant for so long. But Tampa Bay getting Emeka Egbuka, I'm not saying he is the Mike Evans replacement, but them having Ibuka and then whatever is left at Chris Godwin, Cade Otton's been
What
okay.
is
Tez
left of Chris
Johnson,
Godwin is a good way to put it.
yeah, like at this point, Godwin was unbelievable last year, start the year, got hurt, missed the rest of the year. He's been in and out of the lineup this year. I think he didn't even play last night.
Nope.
But I don't know. I don't want to say Mike Evans is like expendable, but it would really suck if he's not in a Buccaneers uniform next year.
It would be
is all
so
I'm gonna
weird.
say. So
It wouldn't feel right.
Yeah,
but-
I will say, I think I may have touched on this earlier in the year, but for a pick that was relatively scrutinized when it was made, because he had so many other needs that weren't wide receiver, what a pick Emeka Ibuka has turned out to be. Because now, I mean, Evans is out for the year. Who knows what his career looks like after this? Godwin has been hurt all year. Who knows what his career looks like long term? Receiver went from a non-factor need at all to, I mean, even with Ibuka, you're still probably going to need. I mean, are you going to rock with Tez Johnson and Sterling Shepard beneath Ibuka for your depth chart in 2026?
yeah, I don't know.
It's going to be hard, but we also can't like go on about this game without talking about
Detroit.
The absolute dominance that is Aiden Hutchinson specifically on the defensive side. I know that there are a lot of great defenders, and every year it's usually a different person in terms of who the like biggest force or biggest impact for a specific defense is in the league. I don't think there's any debate after what happened last night. The way that Aiden Hutchinson is able to just rattle quarterbacks in the pocket, because Baker Mayfield, I feel like in this league, this season specifically, has proven to be a cold-blooded killer. Like, it didn't matter what you threw at him, he was going to find a way to win. And honestly, there were some moments last night where it was like, okay, is Baker going to do another one of those late-game comebacks? But then Aiden Hutchinson would either actually make contact with him or force him to go outside the pocket or get out of his comfort zone. I mean, heck, he threw off of his back foot. There was a specific play late in the game where he threw off his back foot or I think it was his back foot. No. Yeah, it was his back foot. But he obviously did not look comfortable when he threw the ball, and he was kind of fading back. And because of that, the ball didn't get to who he was intending to throw to. And if he would have been able to sit in the pocket and just toss it like a normal pass like he's able to, what probably would have been a touchdown for the Buccaneers. But Aiden Hutchinson and company on the defensive line were able to just rattle him the entire time. And so I thought about giving him my player of the week, but like, I don't know if you can really stat what he was able to do, because it's not just the numbers that really impact what he was doing to that Tampa Bay offense last night.
Yeah.
Yep. Sorry. Go, Braden.
I want to give my shout out to the backup DBs for the Lions. They may have, like, I think Amik Robertson was the only defensive back that played that game that had played a snap before this game. I just want to read you guys some names. I don't think I've heard of one other name on this list. I just want to read some of these names. Eric Hallett, Arthur Mollett, Rocky Yassin. Did not know he was still in the league. He sure was.
Right. Shout out
Amik
Rocky.
Robertson already said. Thomas Harper, Nick Whiteside. They pull these guys off the street, and they clamp down one of the better offenses in the NFL. So, obviously, pressure starts in the trenches. If you can't get it done in the trenches, it doesn't matter what the secondary does. But I got to give my props to Lions defensive coordinator and just that ragtag group of guys they managed to lock down. Granted, the Bucs receivers were hurt. Obviously, Mike Evans went out. Godwin wasn't playing much. Ibuka was dealing with injuries. But still, being able to get the job done with that team is just incredible.
Yeah, they almost got my player of the week, the Lions defense as a whole, just because this Buccaneers offense was dominant throughout the year, and the fact that the Lions defense held the Bucks to 9 points is unbelievable. Like, and I know the Bucks have plenty of injuries, but even still, the Bucks offense has still been able to drop 30 points pretty consistently on any defense they play. And for the Lions, out of all teams, to hold them to 9, I think was truly remarkable. But yeah, dominant performance by the Detroit Lions. Do you guys have anything else to add about this game before we get into the big fourth quarter comeback?
Nope.
Lions are rolling.
Yeah, they look good. All right, the last game that we're going to talk about before we move on to next week and our power rankings and all that fun stuff, we have to talk Broncos Giants. This game was just utter madness. This game, I think at one point was 25-18, 26-8. My numbers are weird right now for me. With 5 minutes to go in the game, the Broncos down 18 points. Usually you're down 3 possessions with 5.5 to go. You're cooked. They end up roaring back, scoring a couple touchdowns, and then Broncos hit the walk-off field goal with, I think, 3 seconds to go. But regardless, this game was so much fun to watch. But what are your guys' thoughts on this game? Was it more of Denver coming back, or was this just a Giants collapse?
I mean, a comeback like that doesn't happen without both. I know a lot of my answers today to your like half and half questions have been just both. That's kind of just how it is. I mean, I know the Giants kicker got cut today because he missed 2 extra points, neither of which were blocked, and again that they lost by 1 point. So you kind of just can't do that. But aside from that, I mean, yeah, man, Bo Nix honestly looked like pretty bad in the first, however many minutes that was, the majority of the game. And then in that the last 5 minutes had like 4 touchdowns on his own, like just incredible work. One of the, I thought what we saw by Josh Allen week 1 was going to be one of the better single man comebacks we had ever seen, but somehow Bo Nix one-ups him in the same season. I have no words.
Yeah, as someone who played him this week in fantasy and checked in the third quarter that he had like 4 points and then blinked and it was 43 points, not fun.
I think it's a combination of a young team getting up against a more Dawson. I'm assuming you just saw the foul merchant situation.
Yeah, there's all right. There are 2 seconds left. Thunder up 125-124. Rockets have ball. Me and Brock are a little.
Oh, you're ahead of me. So do not say anything.
Well.
Do not say anything. I knew that Shea was going to the line because of the foul merchant thing. So you're ahead of me because I'm. Right, are you watching it? Or are you?
I just have the ESPN stream.
Okay.
I'll talk ball, so I won't look at it.
No. I was getting in on the Broncos talk, but I think it's a mixture of a more veteran team versus a young nucleus learning how to, honestly, you got to learn how to lose games at a certain point, and that's one way to learn it. And
they love the Giants. They're going to figure that out either way.
Yeah, that's true. I really do like both teams' cores, though. Like these two teams, I feel like have something. I'm more confident in the Broncos just because of the mixture of talent the talent that has been proven, as well as the coaching staff. I think is a little better, but I'm interested to see what the Giants do from here because you got one of 2 options after blowing a game like that. You can either pretend that never happened, or you can let it ruin your season. And Giants teams in the past have usually let those games ruin their seasons. But this is a different team, to say the least, in terms of what Giants fans have been used to seeing in the past. So no, credit to the Broncos for coming back. Also, I didn't see all the comments or quotes or whatever that were made, but I guess Russ and Peyton are still bitter with each other. They don't like each other or whatever. Because I think Peyton made a comment about how he wished that the Giants would have, made the move after they played the Broncos at the quarterback position, which I think it's pretty funny. But yeah. Don't say anything.
Truly embarrassing by the Giants to blow that game. But credit to Jackson Dart. He's looked really good. So
trash. Not Jackson Dart. Sorry. I just saw
the shot. The shot was garbage. But yeah, Jackson Dart, he's looked really good. I know we've all said Ibuka is going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year, but man, Dart's looked really, really good.
It is a QB award, so
it is. Most awards are anymore, which is kind of silly. I almost like the college frame of mind where it's like, hey, we have a Doak Walker award. We give it to the best running back. We have a Bolitnikoff award. We give it to the best receiver. Instead of like MVP always goes to quarterback, and Offensive Player of the Year is either a running back, receiver. I don't think we've ever seen a tight end win it. But.
Do you I don't know if UFC still has it, but I think they had a title, and people who know will know what what it stands for. But I think they had the UFC had like a championship called the BAMF Championship, BAMF, I think is what it was. They need to add that in the NFL. The only thing is if it was added before, it would probably have multiple winners. Right now, I think Cam Scattaboo is probably going to lock it up for the next 10 years if that was a legit award, just for being like, oh, he could literally have a wide open lane for 75-yard touchdown, and a cornerback is on the other side of the field, and he would immediately just turn and try to hit that guy.
Oh, he'll get an award. His award is early onset CTE. Yeah, that's his award.
That's all right. That's all right.
I don't think there's ever been a player we're more certain ever will end up having a brain equivalent.
But his is self-inflicted versus like.
But it's really fun to watch.
Like Tua.
Yeah. His is self-inflicted versus like Antonio Brown just getting hit by Vontaze Burfict for how many years in a row?
Jesus. Yeah. All right.
Didn't mean to bring that up, but
no, that's just funny. Sometimes you just forget about that kind of stuff, and then it's like, oh,
I see what you did there.
Yeah, I think we all have a little bit of CTE, just a little bit,
just a little bit.
We know someone. Nope, I'm not even going to make that joke on this podcast.
Oh man!
If you've ever put on a football helmet, there's like a 5% chance you got to.
Oh no, this woman never put on a football helmet.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's a joke. That's an inside joke from a different podcast. Right. Or family business. I don't know.
It's how we cope, okay?
Yeah. All right. News came out today that Jets are moving on from Fields at this point in the season. Who knows if he comes back in? But sounds like Fields is making his way to the bench in favor of Tyrod Taylor. Fields has just looked really, really bad the last few games, so I don't hate the switch. And as much as I want to give it credit to the Panthers defense, the frisky Panthers, Fields has just looked really bad up until this point. What are your guys' thoughts on Fields getting benched in favor of Tyrod Taylor?
I mean, on one hand, you're not going to win games anyways, so you might as well put in the younger guy with more potential that you're already paying money to just kind of see if he can turn it around. But also, like, A, he sucked. Putting him out there is not going to help him anymore. And B, you can't. Icarus cannot fly too close to the sun, because if they lose too many games, everybody in that building is losing their job. If that's not already like a certainty at this point, so you gotta at least win like 2 games. You can't go 0-17. That's you can't let that happen if you're a coach. So I get making the switch, but for the sake of the worst draft or a better draft pick, being able to ensure you can get your guy in the draft, there's arguments for both guys, I guess.
Brock, what about you? What are your thoughts on this move?
Let's not bring back anything I said after week 1 about how, well, Justin Fields had a couple really good throws. If he keeps that up, who knows what this Jets team will look like? I definitely didn't say that at all. Don't Don't.
Yeah, we've never had a take go sour on this podcast ever.
No,
Not
never.
one.
No, never.
No,
never.
Scoot Henderson definitely won Rookie of the Year, right? Definitely happened over Victor Wembanyama.
Definitely happened.
Yeah. It's whatever, I guess.
Yeah.
The Jets are a hot mess. Next week when we actually start talking about the trade deadline, there's at least one player that will be on my list of players that need a new place, and and he is from New York, and not the Giants. But it sucks though, because that the blocked field goal that they had returned for a touchdown against the Buccaneers, the reaction from the bench and the coaching staff and their head coach, it's just like, it seemed like they really do like playing football with each other, but they're just, sometimes you're just not good. And
right.
That's okay, I guess. Like, not everybody's going to win 10 plus games. Not everybody's going to win a Super Bowl. Not everybody's going to win a game, I guess, potentially. So
that kind of rolls into my next point, or the next talking segment that we're going to have. Is Aaron Glenn on the hot seat? Like, I know it's his first year. I know he's like, his quarterback situation has been pretty bad, but we've seen coaches get fired after 1 year, and starting 0-7 certainly doesn't help. But do you guys think Glenn is on the hot seat?
If you do it, you're solidifying that franchise. Will never be will never give a coach a chance, because you're going to have you are going to have to accept that this is going to happen with a coach in New York with the Jets. I don't know. It's weird because I'm supporting someone that hasn't won a game, but that's just how I feel.
I get that. I get that you don't want to just give up on one of the more hot up coaching prospects of this cycle. This team is talented enough to win one game.
Yeah.
Let's be real. They should not be 0-7.
There's plenty of players on this team that winning teams and playoff teams would love to have on that team, on their team. Quentin Williams,
Garrett Wilson,
Breece Hall, all those guys are
Ross Gardner.
Yeah.
These guys, they have the talent to win.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, but yeah.
I mean, he could do something.
Yeah.
He's better. He's good enough to play on a team that's not winless.
True. But yeah, I think he will get the benefit of the doubt, but man, you can't go 0-17. You can't be the first team ever to go 0-17. Like, that just can't happen.
No, I mean, if they finish with anything less than
3 wins,
4 wins, I think he's got to go.
Yeah. Can they even get to 4 wins? I mean, I haven't taken an in-depth dive on their schedule, but
I mean, there's bad rosters, but good coaches can get a couple wins out of bad rosters just by out game planning the other team.
Their next 4 games are at Cincy, home versus the Browns, at the Patriots, at Baltimore. Those are the next 4.
Yeah, I think
you would
like
to think that Cleveland game would be the fairest, but I don't know. That defense for Cleveland's pretty nasty. Myles Garrett's really good. Denzel Ward's really good. I don't know.
I'd say any of those games it may be winnable. There's a chance there.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say if you leave that stretch without a win, if you're 0-11, I'm putting my house up, and I'm putting my house up for sale because I'm not sticking around.
Yeah,
there's just no way. The Titans have 2 wins. I don't mean to rub salt in any wounds, but let's be real here. The Titans are not good.
Yeah, when your quarterback comes out and just says, "Yeah, we ass," not a great look. That they're bad.
We grass.
There we go. He's like, we grass. We ain't gonna win very many games, and they still have 2 wins. And the Jets have 0. I don't know.
Well, maybe if you guys had real grass, you'd win some games on your fields. Good Lord.
Yeah, true. Instead of everyone popping their ACL.
I get that, I guess. It's just hard. This franchise is so I don't know a coach that would be like, yeah, sign me up. That's the problem. It's like, that's another thing. Can you fire him with the assumption that you can find a good candidate after this? Because you got almost a stigma at this point about your franchise that
Bring back Big Bob Saleh. Bring him back.
Nope. He's happy right where he's at.
He's happy to be in the San Fran DC. And he's doing really good with San Fran.
He's having a great time. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a great point as well, though, because like, if I'm a coach and I'm like, all right, I'm established myself as a coordinator, I want to take the next step. I want the whole pie. I want to lead the whole team. I'm not talking to the Jets because that situation is a disaster. Like, they've taken everything that had promise and turned it into absolute rubble.
Yep.
East Rutherford, New Jersey is the place where talent goes to die on either side of the mountain.
Draft assets next year? I don't remember if that's still in play.
I think they still have their first.
Okay.
Yeah, they definitely do.
Okay.
It's the Browns that don't have their first.
Which
is pretty bad. That's pretty not good for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have all their.
Wait, no, it's not the Browns. Is it the Jaguars? They don't have their first.
Yeah, because they made the Hunter trade on draft night.
Yeah,
but the Jags are
also might
good.
not have their first.
Jags are 4-3. They're not competing for top 5 pick.
You mentioned the Browns, and since we're kind of hinting at some hot seats, how many more?
Think he's out?
I'm not saying it needs to be like there needs to be like lighter fluid, like it's a done deal kind of thing. But like,
coach of the year, go kick him out.
I mean, Brian Dable's the coach of the year, and Brian Dable is equally on the hot seat as Kevin Stefanski.
He ain't won 2 of them things.
Brian
but
Dable?
like,
yeah, the coach of the year.
If the Browns finished last in the division this year,
there's a conversation.
He gets an all-time pass because they have the Deshaun Watson contract just looming over that franchise. So they just, in my book, he gets a pass. And Braden mentioned it. He is a 2-time coach of the year. So he will get more grace than, say, another coach that's 2-5. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how many more years that the Browns can be at the bottom of the division and he can keep his job.
I don't think it'll be this year, but if they are just as bad next year, then I think you start to be like, okay, we need to start making some changes. Clearly what we have is not working.
Because they have talent. Like, they have talent on both sides of the ball. They drafted a stud in Quinyon Judkins, who's balling out for him. Obviously have Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, took Mason Graham to the top 5. Like, they have talent on that team. But their quarterback play, since they got rid of Baker, has been so bad other than those 2 months of Joe Flacco. That's it.
I will say, though, I feel like there is something there with Gabriel. I just think he's getting no time, and when he gets time, his receivers are barely hanging on to the ball.
Yeah.
So I think if they can figure that out, then maybe there's something there. I think you got to build a team around the quarterback before you put a quarterback in there, because the quarterback with no team is nothing. A team with no quarterback can get you something.
that is true.
All right. I have 2 more candidates. I want you guys to tell me who you think is on the hot seat, whose seat is hotter between these two. And these may be controversial, they may not be, but I just want your general thoughts. Pete Carroll, 2-5 with the Raiders, or is Brian Dable on the hotter seat right now?
C. Jonathan Gannon.
Yeah, or I guess that's a given.
I'm kidding.
That's a given.
If I had to pick one, probably Pete Carroll. I think Jackson Dart and Scattaboo are saving Daboll's job right now.
I was going to say the same.
And there is absolutely no future with Pete Carroll anyways. Although on the flip side of that, Pete Carroll kind of has like the all-time like legend pass where I don't think he's going to get fired. And
Um,
also,
Bill Belichick would like to speak. He is using that pass to get himself fired from Carolina. So
that's true. And also, I think Daniel Jones being good in Indianapolis also, I think, is slowly writing Daboll's name into the fired note.
yeah.
So
Pete Carroll will retire before he gets fired.
yeah.
Which honestly, he probably
He probably should after this year.
I would not be shocked if he actually does retire after this year.
I mean,
honestly, I don't know why he came back to begin with.
when you
I
get
don't know
your
why the
guy,
Raiders hired him in the first place.
when you try to get your guy in Geno Smith, and Geno Smith is currently leading the NFL in picks with 10 and only 7 touchdowns.
That's
and
rookie numbers according to Jameis Winston.
And you take a running back in the top 10, and no offense to Genty, he's had good games, but was he really worth a top 10 pick? I don't know. Probably could have taken a lineman and like Armand Membu or any of those guys. Like, who knows?
And there are no quarterbacks available this year that are worth drafting.
Nope. All the quarterbacks that we thought would be good are either hurt or stink. So, yeah. I don't know. This head coaching cycle for next year, it's going to be something.
I cannot wait to watch Dylan Raiola versus Patrick Mahomes twice a year, once in Kansas City and once in Las Vegas. It is going to be
I didn't know what team
fun.
you were going to say.
It is going to be so fun. I'm calling it right now. Dylan Raiola is going to end up in Las Vegas, and we're going to have a matchup twice a year between Mahomes and his twin.
Dylan Raiola will force a trade to the Chiefs.
He's like, I will sit on the bench.
I will sit on the bench for the rest of Patrick Mahomes' career if it means I get to be his teammate.
Yes.
I can just see it now, them both doing the like little pregame thing that Mahomes is known for before Super Bowl. Oh, cinema.
Do you guys have anything else to add to this week before we move on to Player of the Week, Power Rankings, and looking ahead to next week?
When does Miami fire their coach?
Soon.
I mean, when you're putting Quinn Ewers into the game, I think you've given up on the season. So it's got to be this week or next week. Although
I will say there has not been a player whose stock has risen more by not playing, I think, in history than Quinn Ewers, based on Arch Manning and Tua's play. Quinn Ewers has somehow made himself like
I didn't know what you meant by that.
Football Jesus.
That's a fire take. I love that.
That's great. I great.
Love that. I never thought of that, but good take on that.
Like, you watch how those two are playing, it's like, all right, man, maybe this Quinn Ewers guy isn't that bad.
That's like Spencer Petras level of.
Honestly, yeah, that's a pretty good way of putting it.
It's never in my life did I thought I'd hear Spencer Petras compared
that's
to
like
Quinn
a Spencer Petras, Nate Stanley type.
It's like, wait, maybe it wasn't as
maybe
bad
these guys aren't that bad. Hold on, let's run it back.
Yeah. Oh my god, dude.
I'm still waiting for that apology letter to be sent to Spencer Petras from Iowa fans because they owe him.
I've already seen it in motion, man. It's bad. I've seen it in motion for years. Ever since Deacon Hill took a snap, that's...
Braden's one of the few people that's ever seen Deacon Hill take a snap in the actual stadium.
Oh,
you can
it's as glorious as you could ever imagine.
Oh my god, was it the Rutgers game?
It sure was the Rutgers game.
Yeah, nasty.
And it had like the lowest over under.
Oh no, I saw he never played Iowa State, right?
Deacon,
no. Okay, I was gonna say, I was like, have I? I have watched both Cade and Spencer.
Shut up.
And funny enough, well, I guess Spencer played more than 1 year.
He played 2.
Yeah, he played Iowa 2. State. So I watched Cade. Yeah. So I watched Spencer beat Iowa State in person too because I was in Ames. But I also watched Spencer lose in Iowa City. But good Lord, you guys have had some great quarterbacks.
Yeah, dude.
The lore of Iowa quarterbacks needs to be studied.
Dude, we didn't even mention Brendan Sullivan, Jackson Stratton, Alex Padilla. Like, I could keep going,
dude.
dude.
The Cade McNamara, like, when he first transferred into Iowa, that quote that's like, please keep saying our offense is going to be terrible. Please, we need that. That quote has not left my head since I saw it the first time because it is proven evergreen.
Yeah.
All
right.
Alex Padilla.
Yeah.
Deuce Hogan.
They all
Hank
forgot.
Brown, baby.
Hank Brown.
This is great.
Like, you could legitimately spend 20 minutes and just go through
Joey
the Iowa
Labus.
quarter. Wait, who?
Joey Labus.
Oh my God! Central
Was
Michigan.
he the
legend.
Deuce
guy
Hogan.
Was
Hogan.
Joey Labus the
Come
guy
on.
that like Kurt Ferentz, like someone kept asking him about, and he's just like, no, he's bad. We'll never play him. Basically,
Yeah.
Like in
Isn't
the
he the
most
starter at like
Kurt Ferentz-
Central Michigan right now?
Yeah, and
He
he's
was
not
at least
very.
last year. Okay.
No.
All right. As much as I would love to keep talking Iowa quarterbacks, we need to get through Player of the Week power rankings, and then because this episode would be 3.5 hours long, I truly gave my thoughts and inputs on Iowa quarterback play. But we're gonna start with Player of the Weeks for this week. Braden, I'm gonna have you go first. Tell us why you chose who you chose.
Yeah, so I will say this was kind of a pivot pick because my pick was initially taken by another pick that we will obviously see later. But I will say for a consolation prize, 218 total yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, and 8 yards a carry is one hell of a consolation prize. We touched on this earlier, but what a game. I think is started to put himself into like really elite conversations with performances like these. And I think if Montgomery wasn't there to take some of his carries, which love Montgomery, don't get me wrong, but I think if it was just the Jahmyr Gibbs show, I mean, who knows? We could be talking like top 5, top 3 conversations with Jahmyr Gibbs. Just heck of a talent, heck of a player, heck of a game. Just it's rare that I get Monday players being my player of the week, just because I feel like most of my top 5, my player of the week has already been decided by middle of the day Monday. But when you have a game like that, and when my initial pick is taken, things change. Let's just say that.
Yeah, Gibbs has certainly elevated himself into like you said, a different class of running backs. I would argue he is already top 5 in running backs. Like this year, you would say McCaffrey, you would say Jonathan Taylor, Bijan, and then it's like, gosh, Saquon hasn't played well this year. Derek has been MIA. Derrick Henry, we have not seen him since week 1 against the Bills. So
I'm seeing people put him above Bijan right now.
Ooh, I don't know if I would go that far. But
which, yeah, I don't know about that, but definitely like top 5. I'd say I wouldn't say easily, but definitely in that conversation.
Yep. All right, Brock. Here is the pick that Braden originally wanted to go with, but here.
Oh, I didn't mean to steal your pick.
The floor is yours.
You got it in before I did, so
you did.
I was trying to steal yours.
You did. You got first dibs.
I basically am the number one fan of every quarterback fan club, I guess, at this point, because Bo Nix is so fun to watch, man. And 327 yards, 4 total touchdowns. Dawson, I think you even mentioned, you said it was not good fantasy wise to start out, and then you went and checked back and it just completely changed. Why? I don't know why my brain isn't working. This is his second year, right? He was a rookie last year. Okay.
I swear I looked in fantasy. He had 4 points in the third quarter. He finished with 43.96. I
think we're seeing something special. And I'm telling you, this might be a little controversial. I think he's the second best quarterback in his division.
Ooh, I like it. I agree. Geno Smith is number 1.
Stop. Stop.
Hey, man.
It takes a special type of talent to throw that many touchdowns to the defense.
Exactly, dude. Geno really cares. Bo Nix is selfish.
He's a man of the people.
Mahomes is selfish. Geno's spreading the wealth.
In that
10
case, Sam
interceptions?
Richardson's the best quarterback Iowa State's ever had.
So
Sammy
is
B.
Deacon Hill is the
Oh,
best
no.
Iowa quarterback that they've ever had.
Oh,
Just
That
throw it
man
up
loved
to
to
5.
fumble and throw picks.
no, but we are like
Yeah.
Bo Nix. A lot of people criticized the pick for the Broncos. I felt like, or at least it wasn't received as well as they probably were expecting. You don't come back like that if you're not a good quarterback. So I think if they get a couple more years to build something here, the Broncos will be back in position, maybe even this year, to at least make some sort of a momentum gaining run for the franchise.
Yeah. He's been balling out this year. Denver's 5-2 for a reason. Like, they're not bad. Their defense is loaded. So they're a legit, I wouldn't say Super Bowl contender, but they're definitely a contender to make the AFC title game for
It's
sure.
just crazy how many 5-2 teams that we don't even talk about that much. Broncos are
Right.
one of those.
Yep. Moving into my player of the week, I have been really hard. I'm okay.
Boo.
I have been so hard on this guy the entire year. Like,
Whoa, pause.
Okay. All right.
Great start.
All right.
All right. You guys run the show. That's all you.
No. Okay,
Don't make me spread Jalen Hurts propaganda. What are we
Okay.
talking about?
I'm muting my mic now.
He has played so poor in the first few games, and his passing numbers were so bad. When you have the first perfect passer rating of the season, you kind of get my vote by default. And I really didn't want to go with this pick. I really wanted to go Patrick Mahomes again, but Mahomes has been a player of the week for me and Brock a couple times this year. So I kind of felt like switching it up. But yeah, I did not want to give this award to an Eagle player, but here we are. Jalen Hurts, 326 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns, and like I said, a perfect pass rating of 158.3. All right, now,
real quick, I actually kind of, it's not a criticism of your pick. Almost wonder if AJ Brown should have been the player of the week for the Eagles, just because they actually threw it to him, or Devontae Smith.
Yeah, one of the two.
Because I don't know. In due time, we will see whether or not it's Jalen Hurts that's actually good, or if he is just really lucky with who's around him. But still, 326 yards, 3 touchdowns. The passer rating proves it. And as much as I kind of clown you for it, and as much as I hate the Eagles, it probably is well deserved.
Yeah, there was quite a few guys I thought about going with this week, but gosh, I did not want to go Hurts at all, but it happened. Moving into play of the week. Power rankings for this week. Braden, your power rankings are first. You want to just give us a rundown of who you have and where you have them?
Yeah. So number one, we had a whole segment on them, so I don't think I need to go too in depth on this. I have the Colts at number one. They look like probably one of the more complete teams in the NFL so far. Just have been winning the games they need to win, and yeah, Jonathan Taylor is finally getting the respect I think he's deserved this whole time, and I can't be happier for him. Number two, I have the Lions making their way back. I think they were first 2 weeks ago and then suffered that loss to the Chiefs. Have gotten themselves back into form with that win on Monday night. I will say, like, somehow every game of theirs feels like it's like a whooping either way. Their 2 losses coming by a pretty decent margin, and then all their wins have been pretty pretty decisive as well. So not sure what that's about, but if they can get more of the good blowouts and less of the bad blowouts, I think they're going to stay around where they're at. Number 3, I have Seattle getting it done on the late game Monday. Didn't get to watch much of this game because for some reason Roger Goodell thinks we need to have football at 10 o'clock on a work night. I'm good on that, but see what I had to say about them last week. I think most of that pretty much stands. I don't think I need to go too in depth on that. Number 4, I have the Bucs staying in the top 5 despite their loss. I think a lot of this more is just the injuries finally starting to catch up to them a little bit. I do still have a lot of faith in this team, but unfortunately, it's it's a what have you done for me recently sort of a power ranking here. So when you lose, there has to be at least a little bit of a punishment, especially if you lose by multiple possessions in a game that felt like it was never really super close to begin with. And then I have number 5. Guys, I don't want to do this, but I think I have to do this. Take away the first. No, I have to. It's okay. You can deafen if you don't want to listen to what I'm about to say, because I don't want to listen to what I'm about to say. Let's take away the first 2 games. All right. Let's say that was just them trying to figure out a life with the offense that they had, the situation that they were in. Since then, they are 4-1 with their one loss coming to the Jags, which they've looked weird ever since that game, and also a game where the Chiefs had 16 penalties called on them. I mean, say what you will, a lot of those probably were genuine penalties, but 16 in one game feels a little crazy. So, I mean, take that iffy game away, and they are 4-0. And let's be honest here. A lot of the teams in the NFL, as far as who would you trust to go the distance, how many teams are you taking over the Chiefs? Because I don't think it's many. You have all of these 5-2 teams that you can make a case for going in there. How many of them would you confidently say right now are like, yeah, they would beat the Chiefs? I don't even have to think twice about it, because I don't think it's many, if any of them, that I don't have in here.
Today's a great day.
Today's an awful day.
Today's a great day. I can't. Brock, you have any thoughts on Braden's power rankings before we move to yours?
I'm sorry.
I
am a defeated man.
The only thing is, like, I don't know. I don't like Seattle, so that's why.
Me neither, man. Do you think I liked putting them in my top 5 2 weeks in a row? No.
Me too, bro. Me too.
All right, Brock, the floor is yours.
Ooh.
We got some movement.
We do.
Okay.
We got some movement, boys.
Brock only having 2 teams in the same power rankings for week
2 teams returning in my power rankings this week. Detroit at number 1, moving up from number 4. You have proven to me why I shouldn't have moved you just because of a game or a performance. Your defense scares me, and even when both Sonic and Knuckles aren't performing, just, Sonic was performing this past week, you still were able to dominate against your opponents on the offensive side of the ball. So, I just right now still think that they probably are the most complete team. And if I remember right, I had the Buccaneers at number 1. So last week, if not they had to have been number 1 because the Colts were 2 last week.
Yes.
But
yep.
So because of that, I'll give that to you. And the reason I moved the Buccaneers out is just because of what other teams have done more recently because of last week's games. The Colts stay at number 2. Again, just a good football team that keeps winning games. Maybe they'll move up to 1 at some point. Maybe I need to start considering that. Then we get 3 teams that were not ranked in my power rankings last week. At number 3, we got the Broncos. I know it's the Giants, but the Giants have kind of been a hot topic. The next, the team that everybody loves right now in terms of like the entertainment value. You came back. Bo Nix is really starting to come into his own. You can really see that he can take that next level of being that next top quarterback in the league. New England, another 5-2 team that I don't think might be getting talked about enough. They beat the Bills. This is the hard part is I went through so many 5-2 teams to fill out this power rankings. And you can only look at so many games and comparing games before you just got to pick one. And the Patriots were kind of that one team that I was like, you know what, you've done really well. Odds are they will probably end up losing this week because usually those teams that I just go, you know what, you've done well. You haven't really proved me wrong yet that you don't deserve to be in here. They usually end up losing that following week. So Patriots at 4. And then Kansas City's back in the top 5. I mean, receiving core starting to figure it out. Seems like Travis got his manhood back in more ways than one, but credit to the Chiefs on being able to pick up a couple good wins in the NFL. And again, like Braden said, who are you going to take against the Chiefs in terms of experience and when it comes down to needing to win the important games? Because in a season where we've talked about a lot of craziness has happened and a lot of like 5-2 teams we keep mentioning, none of them have the experience that the Chiefs have. So they're in the top 5. I fully expect them to be moving up here in the next couple of weeks.
Now, for any of our listeners or viewers that listened to last week's, I did put Kansas City at 5, and it wasn't well received. I'm not going to lie. Why would you put a 3-3 team in your top 5? But it seems
I would
like
like to say I didn't say anything because I wasn't there.
True. Here are mine. I have the Chiefs the same ranking. We'll get to that in a second. Brock, you mentioned with the Lions. The Lions look really good. Like, even with the injuries they've had on defense, they're still so dominant on both sides of the line of scrimmage, offensive line, defensive line. Like, their offensive line just moves people out of the way. It always feels like Gibbs has 7 yards of runway before he's even touched. Like, that 80-yard touchdown or whatever he wasn't touched for 10 yards, and then he was gone off to the races. And Sonic and Knuckles is a great 1-2 punch. Amon-Ra St. Brown is really good. And they didn't even get that good a performance from Jameson Williams either in this game. But they just, when they get a little bit healthy in the secondary, this team is going to be really, really, really scary. I have the Colts at 2. I have been late on the Colts. I didn't really believe in them.
Welcome
but,
to the party.
Yeah, I'm here.
It's pretty casual.
It's just really good. I mean, I mentioned the stat earlier. They're averaging the most points per possession for any team since 2000. So they're just a really dominant offensive team. Defense, have my questions, but they're 6-1 and they're like a couple plays away from being 7-0. So you got to tip your cap when you can. I have the Buccaneers at number 3. I haven't won last week, but I think the injuries are starting to pile up too much where Baker can't really take this team anywhere. That's not the way I wanted to phrase that, but the injuries have piled up. What's that?
He can only do so much for them.
Right. I mean, and his O-line is not helping. Granted, how much of that is the Lions D-line being that dominant and Aiden Hutchinson being that good? And how much of that is just truly the receivers aren't getting open? No Mike Evans, obviously, for the rest of the year. No Godwin last night. Ibuka's still hobbled. I know he got injured last week. So we'll see about that. But, yeah, I think Baker can only do so much. And for them to still be 5-2 is still pretty impressive. So I'm not going to ding him too much. This team hasn't been in my power rankings for, I think, 3 weeks. I have the Philadelphia Eagles. They have not been in my power rankings since week 5. So it has been 2 full weeks. I was just really impressed with Hurts' performance. I don't want to give Eagles the flowers, but Minnesota's not a bad team. And for them to throw the ball like they did on that Minnesota secondary who made the Bengals look really bad. Their defense is pretty good. So, and the Philly defense is good as well, forcing Carson Wentz their 2 picks. I don't know. I don't want to be a believer in this team, but they're 5-2. And like we mentioned all episode, you could choose between 10 different 5-2 teams at this point in the year. But I have Kansas City staying put at 5. And the only reason why they're not above the Eagles is because these 2 teams did play, and Philly's got the head-to-head advantage. So I'm going to give them the slight benefit of the doubt. But yeah, Kansas City's humming as a team right now. The Raiders had less than 100 yards of offense. The Chiefs had 400 yards of offense. And are you guys are aware of PFF? Like, the company Pro Football Focus, they do their grades.
Who dat?
The one that's owned by Chris Collinsworth? Yeah, I think I'm aware.
Did you guys see the PFF grades that they gave this game? Out of curiosity.
Guy.
So
I don't think I have seen that. No.
okay, so I'll just pull it up really quick. Basically,
He's been
PFF.
waiting for this all day.
Yeah, I have. PFF thought Geno Smith, who had, let me pull up Geno's exact stats. Geno had less than 70 yards, no touchdowns, only threw the ball 16 times. They gave him a 67 PFF rating. Sorry, I didn't mean to make a joke there, but it just happened. And they gave the guy with 286 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Oh, man.
They gave him a 62 PFF rating. What's that about PFF? What are we doing here? Whoever's working it.
I feel like they gave Geno a better rating just because he didn't have to play the whole time.
Maybe because I saw that on Twitter, and that was like the worst. That PFF lost all credibility in my book. Like,
I didn't know they still had credibility. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
No, if it's not for offensive linemen, I don't trust PFF as far as I can throw them.
But I mean, when you're the Chiefs and you could shut the Raiders completely down. I mean, Geno's QBR was a 7.7. That's scaled out of 100.
That's like
50.
Nathan Peterman bad.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about him.
This game was so bad.
How could you possibly forget about Peterman? Come on now.
Kenny Pickett was getting snaps in this game, and Patrick Mahomes had his baseball cap on in the third quarter. And the Raiders were taking knees before the 2-minute warning trying to get out of there. I don't think I've ever seen that in a football game in my life.
I have Iowa State, TCU. I can't remember which year it was, but it was a Paul Rhodes year. That's all you need to know. TCU
that tracks.
was like kneeing it in like the third or fourth quarter. Like they started early. Like I'm talking multiple drives of just kneeing the football. but
yeah.
Yeah. But
Kansas
no,
City's
it's like I've never seen that in the NFL, but yeah, I get what you mean. Mahomes should, get more credit to, I guess, your boy.
All right. Do you guys have anything else to say before we kind of wrap this episode up? There aren't very many good games next week. I'm not going to lie, looking at the schedule, but we'll obviously have game of the week picks out there. But
I am fine if the Cardinals lose 80-0 or by 1 point, and the 1 point that loses them the game is the most chaotic 1 point situation ever if it means that Iowa State beats BYU this weekend.
Well, Brock, you're in luck.
I have bad news.
Your Arizona Cardinals don't even play. So
no, that's what I'm saying. I'm fine with everybody tearing their ACL.
Whoa, okay, man. Take it easy.
I do not want to lose to BYU.
All right, we know how Brock feels about that game. Braden, do you have anything else to add?
Only other thing I wanted to mention was Zadarius Smith retiring. I don't know if that was this week or last week. Yeah. I know that happened recently, and then Brandon Graham came out of retirement.
So weird
to replace him. So that will be interesting. We'll see how that goes. Zadarius Smith was like the Eagles' best pass rusher, and then decided that he was just done. Mm-hmm. So that sucks for them. We'll see if Brandon Graham has anything left in the tank to try to replace him, but hopefully not, because I don't like the Eagles. So
yeah, I am happy knowing that I don't have to watch football on Sunday and actually care.
Yeah, here are like some of the main headliner games. Like this Thursday's not a bad game. It's Vikings Chargers. That's something to look forward to.
Is it in Minnesota?
It's in LA. Ooh. So it's in Minnesota. But
in Minnesota,
basically, it's going to be full of Minnesota fans.
I mean, these games are bad. Bills, Panthers. Even I want to hype up the Panthers, but I don't even know if that's a good game. Cowboys, Broncos. I mean, Packers, Steelers. That's the headline. That's Aaron Rodgers playing against his old team for the first time.
Where's it at?
It's in Pittsburgh. It's not in Green Bay. Okay. And then Monday night is Chiefs versus Commanders. But yeah. This next week doesn't have too many crazy games.
Who does 49ers play?
The Niners play the Texans.
That could be that
potentially
could be a good one.
Potentially.
Is Brock anywhere close to coming back?
It's like 50-50, I think. I think it's more likely he won't play than he will.
Okay, that sucks.
And what's he dealing with again, injury wise? I can never remember. Turf toe.
And
Okay,
like
so,
other things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's on the Niners, so he's got about like 4 different injuries he's working on right now.
Yep.
True. Do you guys have anything else to add before we wrap this episode up?
I would like to apologize for my comment I made earlier.
Which one? With the ACL one?
The ACL one.
Okay.
I will say I'm a little bit upset that I felt like I had to justify putting the Chiefs in my top 5 that much, just for both of you to also have the Chiefs in your top 5.
Not just in the top 5. We all had them at the same
At
number.
5.
I was a Chiefs fan and I kept them at 5. I had them at 5 last week.
For it to be like Lions, Chiefs at number 2.
Whoa.
I was waiting for Brock to like skin me alive seeing the Chiefs at 5.
Okay, as much as I like pulling jokes and stuff, I try to be unbiased with the rankings.
I don't.
Players of the week, I sometimes try to have a little more fun or like try to be more unique. Like when I went with David Montgomery, just because of everything that went on both on and off the field for him at that game in Cincinnati. I mean, I'm kind of upset Dawson didn't make my Selly of the week graphic that I wanted.
True. Wait,
the
let me pull that
offensive
up.
lineman for the Rams after drawing
the Steve Avila like front flip into the first down arrow.
Yep. Honestly, Dawson, if you can add a graphic of just Selly, like add that to our player of the week graphic and add the video in the photo area, that would be the greatest addition to the Selly of the week. To the game of the player of the week graphic.
All right, for those of you that aren't aware of what we're talking about, here is the video. This is in the 4th quarter. I don't know if we're going to get copyrighted for this, but I don't care. This is the 4th quarter, I think, of this game.
I mean, somebody watched this all the way to the end, so
True.
Yeah, that's true.
That's all that matters.
But here's all you need to see. It's them trying to draw them off sides.
I thought he did like a front flip. He did a heel click.
That's pretty much a front flip for an offensive lineman. So.
Pretty much. Shout out 73, man.
Oh, yeah. So if I will, I should.
Great.
I'll
players
work on that.
Number 73.
Just
I'll
put
work
for
on that.
stats, be like offsides drawn 1, heel clicks 1, first down points 1. Just something so generic. Like
Yeah, I'll see what I can do.
Which is funny because I sent that to you before the Seahawks game, and then Jackson Smith and Jigba proceeds to dunk the ball after scoring a
He like poster the ref.
Yeah.
So maybe we got 2 Sellys of the week. I don't know. Which, okay, I guess we need to go. But anything that was there any big deal? I didn't see the whole scuffle situation in the Seahawks game. I don't know if it's worth talking, but if not, we can head out.
Not really, Braden. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't watch the second half of this game. I was in bed.
I don't know how much. I don't think I watched any of that game. To be honest, I was in bed.
I woke up at some point in the middle of the night and noticed that the game was still on at 12:30. So
that tracks.
Yeah, Roger. No more doubleheader Monday night games.
I think this was the last doubleheader Monday night game, thankfully. And I think the ratings for these doubleheader Monday night games have been like really bad. So hopefully that's a sign that we don't want to stay up until 12:30 on a Monday.
12:30 Central Time too. By them, I mean not even time. Eastern.
Heaven forbid you live in Florida. You're up until 2 a.m.
I think
Florida man has nothing else to do on a Tuesday morning.
Yeah,
but
all right.
Egregious.
Well, we will be back next week with another episode. Probably talking a little bit more trade deadline, because the deadline will be a week away from that point. Make sure to watch all the sports going on this week. NBA started tonight. The Thunder ended up picking that one up, 125-124 on a missed last-second shot by Jabari Smith Jr.
Shout out Foul Merchant.
Yeah, Shea ended up tying the game with.
Shea found it free throw line, fork found in kitchen.
or he didn't tie the game. He took
Just
the
the
lead with 2
fact
seconds.
that the first game that they won this season, defending their championship, is off of a foul.
Yeah. And right now we have Lakers Warriors going on right now. Like I said, World Series, we got hockey, like perfect time for sports. College football's in full swing. College basketball is right around the corner. So be sure to watch all the sports. Watch them while you can. And then
Watch them
before you know, we'll be in May just watching MLB.
Dodgers in 4.
Yeah, that I have my opinions on
Go
baseball
Mookie.
itself.
Go Mookie.
But if that is all, we're going to wrap this one up. For Braden Bankin, Brock Bierman, I'm Dawson Livingston signing off on the Between the Hashes podcast.